Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing a rare and exceptional Bremont timepiece dedicated to one of the great combat aircraft and post-war circuit racing aircraft in American history. A timepiece known as the P-51, dedicated to the North American aviation fighter and attack aircraft of the same name. 251 pieces in stainless steel, made for the 2011 model year. The watch is 43 millimeters and sits easily on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, though considering 100 meter water resistance, internal rotating bezel, chronograph, second time zone, and date, it is a thick timepiece at 18 millimeters thick. 49.7 millimeters lug-to-lug, however, is quite reasonable for a watch of this size. Therefore, I can recommend it for wrists as small as about 15 centimeters in circumference. The spacing between the lugs is a modern 22 millimeters, so it does have a broad stance to match the size and thickness of the case. It doesn't appear to overwhelm the width of its strap. Now, zooming out for a moment, you can see the width of the strap is one thing. The thickness, another matter. It almost matches one-to-one the thickness of the striated and DLC-coated blackened steel caseband. So you can see how it's almost a one-to-one thickness relationship. However, it is drilled close to the case with a curved spring bar, so the strap can move without any constraint against the flanks of the case. Sometimes straps drilled too close and built too big get pinned against the case and you can't move them easily. Not the case here. The strap is a dark brown with a aged leather look, much like a 1940s aviator's jacket, and it's calfskin on both sides. It has a substantial deployant clasp, which is a wonderful touch because it's a premium feature that is anything but standard on Bremont watches. A deployant on a Bremont timepiece is considered to be a luxury amenity, and you can see that it's nicely made to a combination of satin and polish with twin trigger release and double folding swing arms. It's small wrist friendly, and it is a robust component, destined to ensure against droppage while donning or removing at bedside. Now, I talked about the case for a moment. Let's talk about it for one more. Triptych case construction, so three primary parts. You can see that the mid-case, the lugs, and the case back are all separate components, and the mid-case is treated with a DLC hardening, and it also provides a tonal contrast. The lugs are draped out away from the canister that holds the dial and the movement for better ergonomics. Separating the lugs from the case is a smart move, and that's part of the premise of this case design. The rest of the stainless steel has been treated with an EBE 2000 sort of carbon diffusion process that then includes plasma arcing, so it's very, very hard. It has ceramic-like surface hardness, so it's not quite as dent resistant as ceramic. It is just as scratch and scuff resistant in everyday conditions. The timepiece featuring an aviation propeller motif on a richly knurled, almost Clou de Paris style crown that is easy to grip. Internally you have a bidirectional rotating bezel that you can line up with the minute hand, or the hour hand for that matter, to time an interval concurrent with the operation of the chronograph, which features seconds as well as minutes up to 30. The watch has a vintage simulated patina loom with tri-arabics and a small piece of salvaged metal in sort of a checker plate galvanized finish at 12 o'clock. So the vintage look, designed to evoke the instruments of old-time P-51 aircraft, as well as the watches of 1940s aviators, and why not 1950s? The P-51 flew in the Korean War too. You can see that there is a subdued 24-hour scale that runs all the way around the dial, and there is a second stub hand, which you can see just below, that allows you to track that second time zone in 24-hour format. The watch features both a 24-hour adjustment and a quick set, and usually when you have a dual-time watch like a Rolex GMT, you need to adjust the date by moving the local hour hand. Happily, that's not the case with this 7754 caliber. A quadruple blade propeller, emblematic of the P-51K, the North American P-51 built in several models. The A featured a conventional faired canopy, as well as a Allison engine built in the US with an internal single-speed supercharger. It was great at low altitude, and the laminar flow wing was an aerodynamic breakthrough, but it didn't truly become the plane it was destined to be until the arrival of the Merlin engine with the P-51B. That is a British engine with a dual-speed, dual-stage supercharger that completely transformed the aircraft into a long-range, high-altitude escort and dogfighter. And then finally, the P-51D being the volume model with the plexiglass canopy. No plexiglass here. Sapphire used, and you can see that there's a handsome array of colors. Actually, that subdued sort of ecru, as well as a medium yellow, silver, red, and black all at once. Turn it over, and you can see, again, that quadruple blade propeller. You can see the name Agile but Fragile, the specific P-51K from which this material for both the rotor and the subdial was salvaged. You can also note the dramatic forms of these hands, both cathedral and leaf or foy style. Turn it all over, and again, 7754. What is it? It's a value 7750 with a second time zone. Chronometer standard, nicely finished with high polished chronograph levers and arms. You can see the cam assembly has been entirely high polished. Perlage or engine turning across the winding bridge and blued screws. Nicely executed, and though an aviation centric watch, 100 meters water resistant. Stop seconds, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 25 joules, the quick set, the dual time, the chronograph, COSC, the works. See it and take flight on the watch box. Bremont P-51, dial and bezel loomed.